doing my meditation practice, and I've got this huge lavender bed right by my back deck where our back door is and where I sit for my meditation practice. And with it being cloudy this morning and it was little sprinkles, the lavender was just glowing and so fragrant. And it really made me think about how nature calls us into the present. And for instance, I'll go for a run around the river, the Fox River, that's a couple of blocks from my house. And there's times where I could be really in my head during the run, and it's such a beautiful river. And there's times I might be coming towards the end of my run and be like, oh man, I didn't even enjoy the water today. I'm really anxious about something or really in my head. And, so it's really nice to use nature to bring us back into the radically present moment. There's so many qualities of nature that serve as grounding agents for us. So I invite you to either, look at the image here or think of moments in your life recently or in the past where just something in nature really captured you and brought you out of your head and into the present moment. Because it's easy for our day to slip through our fingers. And we found that mindfulness practices not just help us be more present, but that presence really increases our quality of life, right? We feel maybe a sense of gratitude, a sense of awe and inspiration. Just this morning, just closing my eyes and smelling the lavender just release its essence. It was like, oh my gosh, this is just such a miracle that we have plants surrounding us who it just provide so many medicinal qualities, but also beauty into our world. So feel free to close your eyes as you start to recall moments in your life where you've been around nature and the sense of it, right? If it's like hiking and thinking about just that mossy, earthy scent, or a rose, there's so many different things. Even the water can create a scent. It's interesting. I watch a lot of YouTube videos in the winter when I'm running indoors, and it's people who are sailing around the world. And when they've been out at sea for like 2-3 weeks, going to a new place, they can smell the land before they even see it. Because when you've been away from land, it actually has a very particular scent. And I always thought that was interesting. So the colors bring us into the present moment, the scent, and even the texture, right? And so if you look at this next slide, I included these beautiful rocks. Initially, when I was thinking of color and nature, I was thinking just plants. And then Pixabay, where I get these free images, I was like, oh my gosh, I never even thought about, these inanimate objects, and thinking about how the experiences of collecting rocks, from different shorelines that I've been to. And when you think of picking up a pebble or a rock, the grounding properties in this, right? It's not just the colors that might invite us to that rock, but thinking about the heftiness in your hand, just the feel, how often it's like, does this rock feel good in the palm of our hand? And we might take our thumb and rub on it, right? And the veining, I often look like, what are the different qualities of each rock? And they always shine so brilliantly in the water. And then once they dry, they start to become a little bit muted. And so my kids, I can remember when they were little, like go under the water just to see them be more vibrant. So take a moment here and think about having one of your favorite rocks or crystals maybe in the palm of your hand, and just think about the weight in your palm, the feel of it. And now start to become more aware of the groundedness and the weight of your lower body sinking into your chair. Just letting that chair really support you right now as you become more present into your own moment here, right? And transferring from these beautiful colors and moments in nature to your own internal world, and cultivating that sense of well-being and peacefulness within yourself. So if it's helpful for you to gently close your eyes and gaze through your eyelashes, or close your eyes completely, you can even bring your chin lower down towards your sternum. And take a moment here to go inward and start to watch and listen for your breath. Sensing the beauty as your belly just instinctually rises or expands to take in the breath and lets the lungs expand. And then on the exhale, how you start to hug that navel center in, expelling the air. And sometimes our effort, when we become more mindful of our breath, the effort goes more towards the exhale. And when you're ready to inhale, you just release that effort and let the belly balloon and expand. Notice the ribs, how they expand with the belly. And if you're like, I didn't know they expand, they do. The lower ribs float and help to create that expansion. And we're going to do some side stretches where you're going to feel those ribs expanding even more, which always feels lovely. So keep breathing here for a few more breaths. Continuing to let the body relax and soften. Maybe releasing the jaw, the temples, the shoulders, softening the space around the eyes and the nose. Maybe even relax all the muscles in the mouth. And start to scan the body and notice if there's any places in the body that are holding tension or gripping or tightening. And see if you can bring the breath there and let the breath soften those areas. You might find the edges of that tightness and work with softening the edge of it. Start to notice the lightness in the upper body as the lower body continues to sink. You might feel an expansion through your spine. You might create expansion between the shoulders and the ears, through the back of the neck, up through the crown of the head. And just notice how little effort it's taking to sit here, how little effort it's taking to breathe, as you just let the breath do its work. And being grateful that we don't need to micromanage our breaths. It's helpful to be conscious and mindful of it. It's certainly helpful to make sure we're not reverse breathing, but once you get into the pattern of the diaphragmatic breath, and especially if you're practicing it every day and all day, you're going to be much better off. It's going to feel very natural. And the idea is that as we practice the breath work, you're more likely to go right to it when you're feeling activated in your day. Like, let's say you're getting tense or flustered or your heart rate is going up, to create that pause between the internal thoughts or that activation in your behavior, right? And the breath that consciousness, that mindfulness, the breath really helps create a pause so that we can stay more rational and not lash out or go headlong into a stress response. So taking 2 more breaths, and with these remaining breaths, I want you to picture a rainbow. You know, rainbows are so prevalent this time of year, just like the blossoms and the rocks that we're seeing more often. So go ahead and think of that rainbow and think about it expanding across the horizon. In those times we've seen rainbows as they're just so bright. I think some of the brightest rainbows I've ever seen are in England and Ireland. It's just, oh my gosh. And then gradually start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. I'm going to get readjusted into my seat here and slowly start to open up your eyes. And then let's move into some of our chair movements. So I just exited out of the screen just for so you all could see me a little bit better as I lead you through these exercises. So let's go ahead and take our arms and clasp our hands behind our head. So root down through those sits bones. You might even just gently tuck your tailbone, nothing extreme. And take a deep breath in. And on your exhale, bring the right elbow down, maybe even focusing on just lifting that left elbow up. Okay, and notice what the hips need to do to stay grounded in your seat. You might need to press a little bit more into that left hip. And breathing into those left side ribs. And then exhale, come back to center. And then inhale, let's come to the opposite side. Lift that right elbow up, ground through the right hip. The left elbow comes down towards the floor. And the next inhale, feel that expansion through the right side ribs. And then exhale, come back to center. Let's do that one more time on each side, lifting through that left elbow. Exhaling back to center. Inhale, bringing that right elbow up. Good. And now we're going to do a variation of our cat-cows. So cat-cow is, coming into a cow position where you let that, if you were on the floor, the belly would be going towards the floor and your shoulder blades come towards each other. So we're really expanding through our elbows, through our collarbones. And then on the exhale, we're going to come into a version of cat where we round that back and bring that chin in. Let's do that a few more times. Inhaling, expanding, really arch that back as much as you'd like. And exhale, squeeze it all in. You might even bring the knees towards each other and squeeze, feeling the abdominals. Let's do 2 more times. Bring the breath into it. Exhaling in cat, inhaling as you bring the chest forward. One more last expansion, and then we're going to release the hands and bring the elbows down towards our sides. So our hands are going to be here. And then we're going to bring the tops of the hands together, reach those fingertips forward and curve the back once more, just like you're in cat, but it's going to be a longer extension through the arms. You're going to feel your abdominals a little bit more. And then on your exhale, bring those elbows back in, squeeze between the shoulder blades and stretch through the hands. Exhale, tops of the hands come forward as if you're going into, like you're swimming. Really open up that space between the shoulder blades. And then on your inhale, stretch, fan the fingers out, bring those elbows together behind you. or towards each other. One more time, each direction. And out. Now with your hands open, open up your right arm so that it's bent at a 90-degree angle and stretch that left arm up. And here we're going to think about that rainbow. So reach through the sits bones, engage your navel center, your abdominals. We're going to reach the left arm up and over. And you might have to twist here a little bit. Bring it all the way so the left palm touches the right. Okay. And then inhale, open it up. Bring the left elbow in, stretch through the right arm, reach it up and over, bringing that right palm, if you can, to reach the left. And if you need to scoot that left palm forward a little bit, that's perfectly fine. We're not into pulling muscles here. And then let's switch. So maybe close your eyes and move with the breath. Inhaling over, exhaling. Closing that clamshell or creating that rainbow, open, and exhale, palms together. Inhale, exhale, inhale, and exhale. Very good. So let's clasp the hands behind us, maybe, or if that's not available to you, see if you can hold the back of your chair and roll the shoulders back. And you could even, if you're holding the chair, which is what I'm doing and really lovely, I'm almost pulling on it where it gives me a deeper stretch up between the shoulder blades. And this is something, so keep in mind, some of these are stretches you all can do anytime. And this one, because we're hunched over, just grabbing the back of your chair and bringing your chest out, squeezing between those shoulder blades is a great way to release that tension. And then release your hand, your hold there. Let's bring the chin down to the chest, right ear to the right shoulder. And then as you come back, lift the chin. So you're lengthening through the cervical spine, left ear to left shoulder and forward, reverse direction, left ear to left shoulder. Reach through the chin and the throat as the head comes back, and right ear to right shoulder, chin to chest. One more time, each direction, lengthening through the throat as the head comes back, and then reverse direction. Beautiful. Okay, so we're going to do some wrist circles here. Pick up that right foot and rotate the ankle, reverse direction. Put the right foot down, lift the left foot. Again, rotate the wrists and the left ankle and reverse directions. Hands can, left hand can come to the outside of the right thigh. You can bring that right hand to hold the back of your chair or to rest behind the lower back. We're going to press through the sits bones, pull in that navel center, lift up through the torso and twist. So imagine something pulling you from the crown of your head and you're exhaling as you twist. And you're going to feel a twist from the belly button. You might feel a twist from your heart center. You might even feel a twist coming through the throat as you bring your chin towards that right shoulder. You might even be able to gaze behind you. 2 breaths. And then exhale, coming back to center. The right hand comes to the outside of the right thigh. Left hand behind you, maybe clasping the chair. Pull or sit through those sits bones, pull up through the navel center, lengthen through the crown of the head, and twist from the belly button, twist from the heart center, and through the neck, bringing that chin towards the left shoulder. 2 breaths. Inhaling, coming back to center. hug that right knee in and point the toes. So the toes are going away from you, and get a nice stretch through the top of the foot. And then flex the foot, bring those toes towards the knee. And then bring that right ankle over the left thigh. If that's not available to you, you can always have it a little bit lower below the knee, more on the shin. We're going to lengthen once more, just like we did in the chair twist, and we're going to fold forward, hinging at your hips. And you can either just let your arms rest on that right leg, or you can expand your arms onto the desk so that it's holding, and you can let the head droop between the arms. But here we're just really opening up the hips, the hip flexor. We're trying to bring the crown of the head forward. It's not so much about rolling and then coming back. Bring that right foot down to the floor. Bring that left knee in, point the toes, stretch the top of the foot and ankle, and then flex the left foot, bringing the toes towards the knee. And then cross the left ankle over the right leg, and once again, hinge forward. Remember to breathe. And then when you're ready, come back to sitting, release that leg, the foot back onto the floor. And now we're just going to fold right over the thighs. And we can let this be more of just a relaxed, no effort, forward fold. You might reach the arms out to give yourself a little bit more stretch. Forward folds are extremely calming for our nervous system. So whether you're standing and you hinge forward, or your legs are straight on the floor, but that forward fold, bringing the forehead towards the knees, is very restorative. And then gradually start to come back up into sitting. I'm going to share my screen. And then hopefully you guys are feeling a little bit more rejuvenated by now. So feel free to keep your eyes closed, or you can open them. I loved this slide. When I think of summer, I really think of the goldfinches, and I love watching the birds when they land on my perennials and just kind of sway in the wind. And I found this poem from a collection of poems I've collected over the years, so I thought I'd read it to you. Forget about enlightenment. Sit down wherever you are and listen to the wind that is singing in your veins. Feel the love, the longing, the fear in your bones. Open your heart to who you are right now. Not who you'd like to be, not the saint you're striving to become, but the being right here before you, inside you, around you. All of you is holy. You're already more and less than whatever you can know. Breathe out, look in, let go. So taking a few more breaths to let that reverberate and integrate. And like I said, these are always available to you on our YouTube channel. If you're interested in contacting us, we have several different ways. Most notably, just through our 1-800 number. You can also reach us through email, and our email is also on our website. And for those of you collecting wellness points for participating in these R&R sessions, the keyword for today is color. So I'm just delighted for those of you who are able to join us once more. For those of you where it was your first time, I hope you'll join us again. And it's such a joy to share this all with you. It certainly breaks up my day, my month. It's a real highlight. So I'm glad you all have enjoyed it too. So you can find us here the same time next Wednesday in August at noon, and it's the same Zoom link. It never changes, and same passcode for those of you who need that passcode. So we hope you can come back. And that ends our session for this month. Thanks.